What's up, everyone? First off, thank you so much for clicking on this video, taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I truly appreciate it. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what my work-life balance is like as a software engineer. I'm going to start off by talking about some of the previous jobs I've held down, what my work-life balance was like there, and what caused me to look into software engineering. I'm going to keep that first section very, very short because I know most of you are here just to hear about the software engineering work-life balance part, but I think that content is helpful and important to set the context of what I'll talk about next. Next, I'm going to talk about my software engineering roles, some of the roles I've held, and what my work-life balance was like there. And lastly, I'll take you through a day in the life schedule of what a regular day in the role looks like for me at this moment. Without further ado, let's begin. Just one point, I do have some notes in front of me. If I'm looking down at any point, I'm just looking at my notes. So the previous jobs that I've usually held down were customer service roles, right? My most recent role before I got into software engineering was a call center role at a provincial government call center. This was a very fast-paced role where I would be taking call after call after call. Now, me personally, I loved logical thinking and I'm more introverted. So the ideal role that I was looking for is one where I'd be presented with a problem and I could really think through it without interruptions and come up with unique solutions and then work with people to implement that solution or collaborate with people to find a solution in the first place. And I also wanted a job that would ideally be remote. So these were the things I was looking for, and these would have presented me with the perfect work-life balance. Now, software engineering seemed to fit this bill almost perfectly. It involved logical thinking, so I'd get to exercise my logical thinking muscles, and also it involved remote work at least a lot more often than other industries. Because a lot of software engineering work, all you need is a laptop and an internet connection, and that's available almost everywhere. So again, software engineering seemed to fit the bill perfectly. So I got into it. I went back to university, got my CS degree. I've held down 2 software engineering roles to date. The second one, I'm still employed at that company. So I'll talk about those and my experience. The first role I had was an internship. This was at the Department of National Defense Canada, right? So for the federal government. And the work-life balance there was excellent. They would keep track of my hours by me pinging them when I was signing in and signing out. So I'd send my supervisor a message saying, hey, I'm signing in. And when I was signing out, same deal, hey, I'm signing out. And that's how they track my hours. I never worked a minute after 5. So it was a 9 to 5 role. When the clock hit 5, I was away from my laptop and I was done for the day. And because it was remote, I also didn't have a commute. This was temporarily remote, I believe. This was, still when COVID remote work was going on. So this was early 2021 that I got this role. And we had stand up in the morning. What that is, in the morning, you have a meeting with your teammates and your manager and supervisor are there. And you just go over what you're going to do for the day and what you accomplished the day before. It's a way of your manager to keep track of, how you're doing with a task and whether or not you need any help with the tasks. And no one really cared about time as long as I got my work done. And this was awesome. There's no one breathing down my neck. It's not like they assigned me a task at 9 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. they're pinging me like, hey, how's that task going? So I had a lot of independence to think through problems, come up with unique solutions, which is exactly what I wanted. And also, anytime I was stuck, people were collaborative, helpful. So I was surrounded by wonderful, nice people, and the work-life balance was excellent. 0 complaints there. Next is the full-time role that I currently hold down, and that's at an American tech company, fairly well-known one, and they hire in Canada. That's how I got that role. So, the company itself is based in America, and, they hire remotely in Canada. So that's how I'm in the position. Now, my experience there was the exact same, except it was even more relaxed. I don't ping anyone when I sign in. I don't ping anyone when I sign out. No one cares about time as long as I get my work done. And we don't have stand-up meetings at this position. We have stand-up emails. What that means is, at the end of the day, I'll just shoot off an email to my manager saying, hey, here's what I did for the day. And that's a way for my manager to track my progress. So, these are major pros, of course, and everything else from the government position still applies. I get interesting problems to think through. I come up with the unique solutions. I get to collaborate with people, so I'm still getting the social aspect. And, I can't say enough good things, honestly. I'm more than happy with my work-life balance. And because it's remote as well, I don't have to commute. With the customer service position, I was commuting at least an hour there, an hour back. So 2 to 3 hours out of my day were taken due to, work-related things. So an 8-hour work role was actually more like an 11-hour work role. Now, an 8-hour work role is truly an 8-hour work role, and I'm very happy about this. Next, I'm going to talk about a day in the life and what a day in the life is like for me. So I start off at 6 a.m. Now, no one else on my team starts off at 6 a.m., so you definitely don't have to. The reason I do it is because at 6 a.m., I'm not expected to be responsive on Slack or on email. So I like to wake up really early, and from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., take my most complex problem of the day and tackle it with full focus. So that's usually going to be highly impactful tasks like a project that I've been tasked with, and just anything that would require, deep focus and deep brain power. That's what I will tackle first thing in the day. I turn my Slack notifications off, I turn my email notifications off, and I work through that problem. This is my favorite part of the day by far. This tackles, the first thing I talked about where I said I want to, be logically thinking through complex problems. This gives me that opportunity. Then from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., what I do is I do meetings, shallow work, and I have lunch. Now, if you're curious about the difference between deep work and shallow work, there's a great book by Cal Newport which dives into it, and that's where I drove these ideas myself. So basically, what shallow work is in this context would be smaller things that don't require 100% of my brain power. So let's say there's like a software bug that's creeped up. I'll go ahead and fix that, assuming it's not a very complicated one. And also like meetings, in meetings you collaborate, but you also talk, and it's a fairly relaxed environment overall. It's not a position where you're pushing your brain power to the max. So things like this is what I would call shallow work. And that's what I do from 10 to 3. Now, basically my work day is from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Usually you would expect it to be an 8-hour workday. The reason I work till 3 is because in our company we have this context of core hours. What that means is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. you're expected to be available, right? Those are like the hours where people can schedule meetings, and during that time, if someone pings you, if someone reaches out to you, you're expected to be there and you're expected to respond. Now, I technically end my work at 2. From 2 to 3, I'm just available. So if someone pings me, if someone wants to hop on a meeting, I'm there. That almost never happens between 2 to 3 p.m. anyway, so that's not really a big deal there. And I almost never work a minute over 3. Now, our team does have an on-call rotation. What that means is, at around once every 5 to 6 weeks, for the whole week, I'll be on call. So if a system goes down or something, something terrible happens, I'm expected to be the one who responds to that. But that honestly rarely happens. I rarely get paged outside of work hours. But, it is something to keep in mind. We do have the on-call rotation. So technically, during that week, I could be getting paged like in the middle of the night, and I'd be expected to respond. Now, in conclusion, I'm more than happy with my work-life balance. I work the hours on my contract. I don't get micromanaged, and I'm not expected to be available after hours unless I'm on call. So all the requirements, I think I've said this like 3 times now, so I sound like a broken record, but to really drive the point home, all the requirements that I had set out initially to achieve and what I had hoped software engineering would give me, it has given me. So I'm very happy about that. I hope this video helps answer some questions. If there's anything, that still is a little bit unclear or you'd like a little bit more information on, don't hesitate to reach a comment down below. Please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.